All right. Whether this is the Trump rally, as he likes to call it, or just a continuation of the Obama bull market rally, as I'm sure he likes to call it, stocks are going up and well into record territory. The Russell 2000, populated by smaller stocks, running at about double that percentage pace on the year and since the Trump election. So no matter how you slice it, stocks trying to end the year on a very, very positive note. That is an understatement, but not all that far, about 550 points in the case of the Dow, from 20,000, which would be the quickest turn from a 1,000-point level at 19,000 to the next level, which, of course, is 20,000. Whether that is a credit to Donald Trump or some of the things he's talking about, anyone's guess, to former Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels on all of that. Governor, very good to have you.
Hi, Neil.
They're calling this the Trump rally. A lot of Trump folks are, but a lot of people says it really picked up steam with a lot of his talk to spur growth, to cut taxes. What do you think of that?
I don't think it's possible to dissociate it from the election outcome. It obviously traces to that. Now, of course, nothing's changed yet, but I think there's the markets see high possibilities of regulatory relief, or at least the end of a fairly relentless anti-growth regulatory policy, and beyond that, possibly some pro-growth fiscal policy as well. So it'll all be in the implementation. Won't last if those actions don't occur, but I think it's fair to say that's where it traces to.
You know, from your days as governor and sort of advising President Bush, and now, of course, as president of Purdue University, numbers have to add up for you. Always have, always will. I've crunched a lot of these numbers and, with Hillary Clinton's plans, with Donald Trump's plans, and at the very least, in the short term for Donald Trump, it's going to lead to worse deficits. I can't see that not being the case, even though he argues, and I think there's grounds to argue this, in you know, dynamic accounting, the bang you get for the buck from tax cuts. You saw that in Indiana as well. But that we might not see that right away. So the deficits will get worse first before they get better. On any level, does that bother you?
Not as far as that goes. They're going to get worse. They were going to get worse regardless who's president.
Right.
We've been living with unnaturally, artificially low interest rates. The accelerating cost of the so-called entitlement programs is baked in. So that was coming anyway.
But would you bake in a big tax cut on top of that?
Yeah, possibly. If it's well designed.
Yeah.
If the entire purpose of the administration, and they've given some evidence of this, is economic growth, that's absolutely the place to start. We will never make headway against the deficits or our intolerable national debt at 1% and 2% growth rates. So the first step, absolutely, would be pro-growth tax policies and regulatory approaches. Now, it won't be sufficient. And I hope the administration, and let's face it, in what was you know, maybe not the most uplifting presidential campaign any of us have ever lived through, both campaigns were silent, nearly silent, about the debt. And I hope that changes, because ultimately debt that we have and the interest the growing interest charges on it are a threat to the growth that it's obvious President-elect Trump wants to bring to America. So these things aren't inconsistent. Everything doesn't have to happen in the first bill or the first 6 months. But I hope that they'll indicate a concern about the debt and perhaps some concrete steps, maybe a long-term look, for instance, at Social Security, which sooner or later has got to be addressed.
You know, from your perch at Purdue University, do you think it academically makes sense that you can cut taxes to the degree Donald Trump wants, even allowing for a big tax cut for the upper income, even though his incoming Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, if he's approved, has said that limiting their deductions will offset whatever gain they're getting in tax cuts, that will trigger growth, that we can grow our way out of these deficits, out of this debt, can we?
You can't grow your way all the way out, but you can't get out without a lot more growth than we've had. And I think well-designed tax reform, and you know, there are people in both parties who pretty much agree with this. If you either close loopholes or simply limit the total amount of deductions people can take as a simpler way, you can have something that on its face is is if not revenue neutral, then not too far from it. And the incremental growth that is highly likely will make the short term, I think, more than tolerable. You know, you talk about my perch here. I was concerned about these issues as a citizen, as an elected official.
You were. Yes,
I'm really concerned, though, as somebody who hangs out all day, as I just did here at the Purdue gym with young people, because for one generation or two to borrow money in unbelievable quantities, spend it not on long-term investments, but on themselves, on consumption, which is what we've been doing, and then hand the bill to the next generation is not only economically wrong-headed, it's really not right. Frankly, it's immoral. And so I do hope, if not on day one, as part of a comprehensive plan for our economic and our fiscal future, that this administration will do what its several recent predecessors did not, and take the debt seriously as a major national priority.
Governor, real quickly, this deal with Carrier to keep those jobs here, now they might be more like 730, 740, I don't know, versus the 1,100 thought. I always say, whatever it is, it's more than would have been the case had Donald Trump not intervened. But now it's raised questions from market purists, capitalists, free money guys who say that's the strong arm of the government picking and choosing winners and losers. What do you say?
I think those concerns are well placed. You wouldn't want this to become a sustained policy. I think possibly that the symbolism of it, the statement maybe that they were trying to make, if it can be justified as a very unique exception. But both the government trying to use its coercive power on private companies is clearly a generally bad idea. I believe giving incentives not to grow a business or to add jobs, but just to keep them in place is really dangerous business. You can run on the bank pretty fast doing that. But I think maybe this can be looked at as a very special case because of the notoriety it achieved over the last few months. And as long as it doesn't become a staple of national policy, probably not going to do any harm.
All right. We'll see. Governor, thank you very much. Good catching up with you.